Sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Cimnanya. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smash that subscribe button, turn on the notification so you are notified each time I upload, and please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you all so much, and I am saying massive shout out to every one of you for all the love and support you all give me. I am truly grateful. Thank you all so much. So this video actually is about how do you call out red to the season. I mean, people that are red to the season, how do you call them out? Because he is saying that some people do not like to confrontation. Some people do not want to confront. Some probably would just want to walk away and the rest of it. And this is actually a video where a woman was like probably with her friends and all that, and they said something red to the season about black people. And she actually walked away. So, for how long do you want to keep walking away? For how long do you want to keep walking away when this kind of situation comes up? Sometimes make them uncomfortable. Let them know that what they are doing or what they said is out of order. That is right to the season. Call them out on their BS. Call them out on their bullshit. Because if you do not call them out, they definitely will go out to the next person, or they will still say the same thing you refuse to call them out on. I know walking away sometimes, I know some people do not like confrontation. Walking away sometimes is like a bold step and all that. Sometimes make them repeat what they said. See, they see why you are asking them questions. But to me, I believe that you should call them out on their BS straight up and tell them this is not allowed. I'm just going to roll this clip. We'll come back to talk about it, and I absolutely want to read all your comments. I really do want to read all your comments on this. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. And straight up, I am rolling there.
What a lot of people don't get is that the blacks wait, hold on.
Gotta go right now. Gotta go.
Sometimes I have to just remove myself from the situation because I'm just such in shock that even those words came out of someone's mouth.
How should you deal with racists? That is a fascinating question, and I guess it depends upon two things. One, what is your objective? And two, to what ends are you willing to go? Someone commented on the video and said, don't leave, call them out. And she proceeded to explain that she does call people out, but she also acknowledged that confrontation is not one size fits all. And she was looking for suggestions on how other people handle that situation. Now, while I get the point that the commenter was trying to make, that leaving is not necessarily a direct condemnation of the behavior, it is still absolutely making a statement. So whenever you're in a situation like this where it's all white people in a social gathering and someone says something racist, you're going to feel the energy shift, and one of a couple things is about to happen. Either someone's going to agree and validate their opinions, give them the approval that they were seeking, or no one's going to say anything and they're going to immediately begin trying to qualify their statement, or someone's going to challenge them and they're going to get defensive. So we're going to focus on the final two scenarios. You're at a party, it's strangers, some acquaintances. There's a group of you, 5, 6, 7 people. Nobody knows each other. Everybody's talking, conversing. Someone says something racist, and that awkward silence falls over the group. And it's at that point where you will sometimes, more often than not, they will just silently, wordlessly turn around and they'll exit that circle. They'll leave that group, that conversation. And in that moment, everybody who's in that circle knows exactly what's happened. That them walking away was a statement of condemnation for the behavior, that what you said was reprehensible enough that it deserves to be ostracized. Now, the energy after they leave is awkward, and it's felt by everybody because there's a implication that if you're not leaving or that you aren't challenging them, that you are tacitly co-signing their racist statement. And so more often than not, you'll see the group kind of break up as a whole. People will make excuses and they'll go their separate ways. And you'll have maybe the one or two who silently agreed with them. They'll begin to stand there, converse about the subject, and form their own echo chamber. I want to offer some measure of defense for the leavers because it's easy to vilify them after the fact, like, oh man, you should have called them out. But the truth is that not everybody's built for confrontation. Not everybody has the emotional control. Not everybody has the information and verbal skills to be able to articulate their position in a way that's going to appropriately challenge them, because make no mistake, we're in a social situation, and in a social gathering, debate is a spectator sport. If you don't feel as though you have the ability to be able to challenge them and convince them otherwise, which more often than not you're not going to be able to, but if you don't feel as though you have the ability to convince everybody around you watching the debate, well then it's probably best that you don't engage them, because you run the risk of doing more harm than good. In that situation, I would say that what you did was an appropriate response, and it does convey the message that you were trying to get across. Now let's move on to those of us who don't mind the confrontation and who are happy to challenge them in that moment. We recognize that debate is a spectator sport, and I can't wait to start teaching people. Remember I said on the front end that it's important to identify two things. One, your objective, and two, how far you're willing to go. More often than not, you're not going to be able to convince the person who said the racist thing that what they did was racist. If they understood or were capable of critical thought or engaged in critical thought regularly, they probably wouldn't have said the racist thing. What you're engaging with them for is so that everybody around you understands who the actual expert on the subject matter is and whose opinion needs to be disregarded. That is your objective. Now, they're going to start with faulty logic and premises that aren't based in reality. You're going to need to be able to counter them with real-life examples, historical and factual data, and your own complete logic. Again, we're not trying to convince them. The majority of people around you will be able to tell who's using what. Now, at some point, this is naturally going to devolve into a circular spiral where they just keep repeating the same talking points, the same straw man, the same logical fallacies. And at that point, you have one of two options. You can either choose to disengage, making sure that everybody knows, like, hey, there is no point in engaging with them if you're trying to come to a meaningful conclusion on the topic, or you can allow it to escalate. See, once we've reached this part in the game where I've made it exceedingly clear that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about and I'm the subject matter expert between the two of us, and you continue to argue with me, that's when I'm going to emphasize the gap that's between us. And that's when people's pride get in the way. I learned a long time ago that if you're going to be out here telling racists they're stupid, you should probably be prepared for it to escalate to violence. Which, if y'all haven't seen the video of me and the white supremacist, it's the one that's marked sensitive content, y'all should go check that out. Again, this is why it's critical that you identify your objective and the links that you're willing to go to. Because once you've accomplished your objective, if you don't possess the strength of your convictions to go throw hands with a hillbilly in the front yard, you should not be allowing this to escalate to a place of violence. Disengage a couple steps ago. All right, you did what you came to do. To close, I want to emphasize that these are my social strategies, and I don't want to project my confidence or my propensity for confrontation onto other people and insist that you do the same. It's enough to be a lever. It's enough to make a statement that the behavior is reprehensible and it doesn't belong in civilized society. As always, it's a great time. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Y'all have a good one.
So this is absolutely an interesting one, and I totally enjoyed it. I mean, this man, I just love his content because, like, you know, he is always hitting, like, you know, the point. And I absolutely, like, you know, I know that not everyone is kind of built for confrontation or have, like, you know, debating skills and the rest of it. Some, like, you know, prefer to walk away in itself. Like, to some people, walking away is one of the bold step and loud statement, all right? And for me, I personally would be like, you know, my favorite response would be like, you know, did you mean, what do you mean by that? Because I would want you to, like, you know, I would like you to repeat, I would want you to repeat what you said and just ask questions until it is very clear. It is very clear that you are absolutely out of order. And it's not okay. And sometimes they actually do know what they did or what they said. And then, like, go back into the shell because you talked about it or you are reacting over it and all that. And also, I think calling them out straight up. If you are a confrontational person and you call them out straight up on their bullshit, because, like, some of them think, like, you know, they can get away with anything. And one thing I understand about this rest of the season is that when you don't talk it, especially when you say it happened and you don't talk, you don't say it, trust me that it definitely might get someone, maybe not of the same, like someone in the minority group, into problem. Because I remember something a man that talked about. He said, rest of the season makes white people very uncomfortable. They are never comfortable talking about race and the rest of it. But then when you don't talk about it, it gets black people dead. All right? So I love confrontation. I love to call you out on your bullshit. It is like, you know, it is a dopamine. I love it. And I like to push it to them to see what they did and correct them. If they want to learn, let them learn. If they don't want to learn, that is it. But I definitely will call you out. And sometimes try not to be like you said, I don't like confrontations and all that, and you end up swallowing, or you don't want to talk about it and the rest of it. It means you are not even ready to call people out on their BS. Because, man, yeah, if you don't call them out on their BS, they definitely will go out to other people to do the same bullshit and think they can always get away with everything. So call them out on their BS. This is all I have to say on this. Let me know what you all think also in the comment section, and see you all in my next video. Bye for now.